In this segment, we'd like to talk about the effect or impact the simulations have on your students. Can you describe for us, Dave, what's going on in the classroom during the turns for each side?
A lot of the things that are going on in the classroom, number of skills and behaviors that are being implemented are leadership. Things that you don't normally do in the regular social studies classroom. Leadership not just of your countries, of your alliance system. You have to do a lot of writing with this, not a ton, but you have to be able to express your thoughts. There's debating going on like you wouldn't believe. Some of it is formal in front of the class. Some of it is in small groups or large groups about what you should do and how people are going to react. So there's some element of public speaking going on. There's just a lot of little things going on in a classroom as compared to the teacher talking and everybody listening. There's all these little substantive conversations going on everywhere. It's like little mini groups of higher order thinking going on. That's what I like to think of. These things are going on inside the classroom. They're going on at lunch. They're going on outside the classroom. They're going on at home, at night, across Facebook. There's a lot of things going on. The class period is really the small period where a lot of intense stuff happens, but a lot of groundwork is made outside the classroom as well.
Well, that's really interesting that you would say that, Dave, because really that was going to be my follow-up question is, how much of this is taking place in the classroom and how much of it is taking place beyond the class period, beyond the classroom walls. So I'm glad you're able to touch on that. So it does definitely sound to me that there's a lot going on. Do students become emotionally involved?
Emotionally involved is an understatement. Sometimes even at lunch, the lunchroom is segregated. If you're not a member of the Central Powers, you can't sit at some tables because sometimes all the German leaders will sit at one table and they don't want anybody else there, or Central Powers or the Allies, and it gets pretty intense. The other thing, it's just very personal. Like I said before, it's their country. They really feel like they are the leader of Austria-Hungary. It's their country, and they want to do well because they're competitive. And that makes a big difference. Friendships are strained. Some people make deals and then they break those deals, and they get very, you can't do that. Well, yeah, you can. It happens all the time in the world. So yeah, it becomes very emotional, and some people get upset, but it's a great learning.
Well, Dave, not to sound overly cliche here, but it sounds to me like what you're saying is that all is fair in love and war. But what I'm also hearing you saying is that if I was a leader of an allied nation and you were a leader of a Central Powers nation, you wouldn't let me sit with you during lunch?
No, they won't let you sit with them during lunch. It'll cool down about a week afterwards. The other thing that I've found and have found from testimonials that other teachers have given me is that other teachers are going to complain that students are talking about your class and your simulation in their classroom, which kind of turns the tables in social studies a little bit, because sometimes it's the other way with math and other things working on homework, whereas now they're talking about your classroom, and it's a big deal in their life. So that's really kind of neat.
Dave, I'm getting the definite impression that the simulation does not stop when the bell rings. Now I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, and I'm going to ask you, how do you know that there is any higher order or critical thinking going on in this lesson plan?
Over the years, over the last 20 years, as I've done these simulations, I've often, I could tell that there was thinking going on, and I could tell from the conversations I had with the students, they were really thinking at a higher level, on multiple levels. But I didn't have any scientific proof that this was going on. And a couple years ago, I started doing journals, and I had them journal every day of the simulation. Just telling me, what were your thoughts? What was your strategy? What were you thinking at the time? And got some amazing results. Just the things that they were thinking about and how they had processed all the information that was going on in the class period. You know, some of them are a little skimpy, as you know happens sometimes, but some of them are so in depth of what they were thinking. It really, you know, substantiated that this is a higher order thinking lesson, and that students were taking it way beyond what was expected. And so I that was really neat to put that part of it, that component in there, for them to collect their thoughts as well as for me to see what their thoughts were.
Okay, so Dave, how do you keep the simulation from going off course? What keeps the students from doing something off the wall, like Russia and Germany forming an alliance to take over the entire world?
The objectives are what's going to keep the simulation historically accurate. They have to follow their objectives or it hurts their grade. I've had a couple instances over the last 20 years where students have tried to do that very scenario, where they've just tried to make it a game of Risk. They just wanted to conquer everybody. And I had to pull the plug on them. And it was easy in Great Britain. I just said, well, your party was thrown out of power, and now we're going to put somebody else in power. So that's the way you keep that in control. But the objectives really keep everything on course.
Dave, I want to thank you very much for your information about your HistorySimulation.com's World War I simulation. Dave, it's very apparent to me that you have a very definite passion for teaching, for learning, and certainly for your World War I simulation, what you have here, and what you're doing with your simulation. Okay, so let's say I choose to purchase the simulation. What kind of support could I expect from you? I have the product now, I have everything laid out, but I've got questions, I want some additional support. What can we expect from you?
Well, during the school day, 8 to 4 Central Time, you're not going to get me. And I coach after school most of the time, in the spring for track and in the fall for football, so I won't be home till probably 6 p.m. Central Time. But after that, you want to talk shop, feel free to call, leave a message, I'll call you back. Email me is the best way. Like I said, I won't get to it till 6, but I always answer them all. I love to talk shop. So if you have questions, I want you to call me. I want you to contact me. I want you to have these simulations, not just because I'm selling them, because I think they're a great way to bring history to life in your classroom, to get these important lessons to our students so that they can make good decisions when they become leaders of our country. History is so important. And we've seen that, especially over the last 10, 20 years, where we have made mistakes that we've already made in the past that we didn't need to make. And so I hope that with these kinds of things, students will be like, hey, we've already done this before. It didn't turn out too good. I'm not going to vote for you because of that.
So let's not let history repeat itself. And again, Dave Harms, HistorySimulation.com, World War I simulation. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.